Garrett is up. Garrett is in Flint, Michigan. Hey, Garrett, welcome to the EntreLeadership Podcast.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for having me.
Sure, man. How can we help?
So I am 3 weeks into working for my dad's heating and cooling company.
Mm-hmm.
We have about 65 employees with a revenue of $15 million. And I have an agreement for the ownership of the company over time to transition to me. And the caveat is that both of my brothers have at one point been a part of the company, and they are not any longer, they don't have any attachments to the company any longer. And I just wondered if you could hear that and have any advice for me about family and business. And I know Daniel and Rachel and your family are involved with the business, a little bit different situation than I got going on, but if there was any way you could help.
Okay. How old are you?
I am 27.
All right. What's the timeline on this transition?
About 10 years.
Okay. All right. What were you doing before?
I worked for Gordon Food Service.
Doing what?
I was kind of an in-between sales and supply chain.
Okay. And what are you going to be doing as your entry position with your dad's company?
Right now, I'm an administrative assistant, and I'm working in one department. And then the plan right now for us is to have me cycle through all the different departments to kind of see what everyone has to do at the company. And then from there, a year or so down the road, kind of see where we think I could help the most.
Okay. That sounds healthy.
Okay.
And, then the next thing would be once you find out where you can serve, after you've served and proven your competency at that level in a position, then I would escalate you to lead a sub-team of some kind. Lead your first small team would be the next one, and then lead a larger team, and gradually, because one of the things we've discovered about family transition succession plans is that the more gradual they are, the more successful they are. Okay. And so I love your 10-year plan. I like all of that. And so the last 2 years of the 10-year plan need to be like you and your dad are hand in glove running the place together. That's actually where Daniel and I are right now. Daniel's the president of Ramsey Solutions, and I'm the CEO. His office is next door to mine, and he and I, along with our operating board and our leadership team, are running this business together for this next season. And it's maybe 5 years and maybe 6 years. I don't know. We don't know exactly. We're just going to run it together for a while, and it's not going to be 10. But that's the process. And so one of the things we heard as we studied successful succession plans was that when the next generation takes over and it's announced, everybody goes, "Oh, I thought he already was."
Yeah, okay.
Because you'd already been performing the duties of service. Leadership is service. And you'd been serving the organization in a way that, as my friend Dan Cathy says, you get elected president in the elevator, not in the boardroom.
Sure.
In other words, the team at Ramsey was not shocked because Daniel Ramsey had been leading at such a high level for the last 2 years that when he moved into president, they're like, "Oh, kind of thought he already was." It really wasn't like, "Whoa, it's a big leap." It wasn't that, right? So you're looking for this gradual, gentle thing and process. And so you've got to create org chart processes as you move along. But your first year is a good year. Go visit every station and keep your mouth shut and learn and serve. You're not there to help fix anything. You don't know anything.
Yep.
Okay? And just go in there with a lot of humility and always paying honor to your dad for the rest of your life. Okay. No matter what he says, or no matter if you disagree with him, or no matter what's going on, you're going to always give him honor because him turning this loose is hard for him emotionally.
Mm-hmm.
And the closer he gets to turning it loose, the more emotional it's going to become. I know a guy who's experienced that. Ha ha. And so,
yeah, I got you.
Yeah. Now, what happened to your brothers? Where are they gone?
my dad has determined that they are not a fit for the business.
That was diplomatic.
So my dad uses GWC, get it, want it capacity to do it for different roles. And I think that one of those 3 points he's determined that they both are lacking in, and
they're not there at all. So he fired them. That's
correct. Yeah, so it's a delicate situation, and I'm just.
How is his relationship with him as a father-son now with them?
It started rocky, and more recently, we've kind of all come together and just tried to have a big picture discussion of, regardless of business, we want to still be family and be able to see each other and love each other. So I think it's headed in the right direction. When they got
fired, how was your relationship with them?
With my brothers or my dad?
Your brothers.
My relationship with my brothers has always been good.
Okay. So you signed up to potentially take the same trip.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Your dad's a tough nut. All right. I like him, I think. Wow. All right. Well, I think one of the things you've got to manage is make sure you keep you might talk to your dad and your brothers about this a little bit. It might help you all navigate some of these feelings. Keep your hats separate. And so you're wearing a hat when you're at work as an entry-level gopher. All right?
Okay.
And he's the CEO and owner of a $15 million business that he built, I take it, from the ground up.
Yes.
And so an entry-level gopher pays honor to the person that does that. And that's your position at work right now.
Okay.
When you go home, you take that hat off and you put son hat on and he puts dad hat on, and that's Thanksgiving dinner. You don't wear the work hats at Thanksgiving dinner, and he doesn't use his dad voice on you at work. He treats you with the same respect he would treat anybody else at work. Mm-hmm. Okay? And we've worked really, really hard on that, particularly Rachel and me, because we argue a lot. And so we have to argue the same way I argue with everybody else in the building. I argue with everybody in the building, by the way. It's part of my style, and people like fighting with me because it's how I process information. So I think they call it an Enneagram 8 or something like that, the challenger, right? So I think I get intimacy from arguments. It's weird, but anyway. So Rachel and I do that. We fight, and I fight with people on the operating board. I've had big argument with 2 of my leaders this morning. And so, but it's a way to get through things. It's a hillbilly way of processing things for me. I like it. So, anyway, Rachel and I, when we're doing that, we have to remember that she's arguing with the CEO and I'm arguing with the Ramsey personality. So I need to argue with her the same way I would argue with Dr. John Deloney or Ken Coleman or Jade. Okay. And so I don't argue with her like she's my daughter. Now, when I take my hat off at work and I'm not the CEO and I'm home and I've got the Papa Dave hat on and I'm playing with my grandbabies, which she produced 3 of, then that's pretty cool. That's a whole different thing, right?
Yep.
And then she gets to say, Dad, don't drop my kid over the wall, okay? I mean, quit playing with him like that. She gets to say stuff like that. But that's different, okay? So don't throw him up into the ceiling fan, that kind of thing. So, which I almost did with one of the babies one time. But anyway, so that's the process, right, dude? So you keep those hats separate. Now, your brothers, they need to do that. And then part of that process was that several years ago, Rachel had her first book come out. Daniel was in college. Denise runs our family foundation. And I brought Denise's husband, Rachel's husband, Daniel. Everybody was at dinner one night. And I just kind of laid it out. I said, okay, we're going to put work hat on for a minute, everybody. But it's also family hat simultaneous. So this one's a little bit weird. Rachel's getting ready to have an incredible year financially because this book's going to be a big hit. And she's going to make like a truckload of money. And it's her book and her money. And so now the rest of the family gets an opportunity to either now be jealous or to be cheering her on and thankful that their sister just had a big hit. You get to decide. To their credit, they instantaneously all decided they were happy for her. But if you don't say that out loud, like, what if your brothers get jealous in your situation, Garrett? That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, right.
So it might be a good thing to say out loud, guys, if this works over here, you're going to have you got an opportunity to be my brother and happy for me that this all worked out, or you got the opportunity to be jealous and bitter that it didn't work out for you and it did for me, and you're going to be angry at me or hold resentment against me for the rest of your life. You probably ought to go ahead and decide that ahead of time. And I might have that conversation with your brothers if I were you.
Okay, yeah.
Because it would be, if I was your brother and you go over there and win after I got fired, I would have to be conscious. It would be a conscious effort for me to be happy for you instead of pissed off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And they've been very happy for me up to this point.
Yeah, but you ain't won yet.
Haven't. Exactly. Yeah.
When you're sitting on top of a $15 million or by then a $30 million company and they're not, that'd be a different scenario.
Better to approach it on the front end then.
Yeah, and if they want to be mad at somebody, it needs to be your dad, not you. So
yeah, okay.
I don't want them mad at anybody, but that's the point. So, hey, man, you got a really fun time ahead of you if you all will communicate clearly and kindly about everything that's going on. Stay in your roles and keep a gradual process on this. You're going to really, you could end up running a huge company here, transferring the ownership to you. It could change your life, and your brothers can go on and have a great life doing something else. Your dad could have the great satisfaction of working with his son and being proud of his excellence, what was it, GWC he called it or whatever. You're proud of his, your rating, your score because you made it. I'm proud of mine. I'm proud of the kids, the Ramsey kids that are in here and what they're doing. But they, they're excellent. They're really, really good at what they do. And so I've got reason to be proud of them. And so that's the thing. That's what you're looking for. Is you got a really rich environment to do this with family business, but you have to be extremely intentional. You have to set aside extra communication. You have to do all kinds of things in that area and just go. And if you got a problem, you got to air it out early and often. Don't let it build up. And in private, all those kinds of things. So you got the right ingredients here to go for this, Garrett. I'm proud of you. Proud of your dad. This is a good move. What a great opportunity.